Hello there, welcome in. I am Thirdmango, and this is my album review of Igorr's 2020 Spirituality and Distortion. Now, as I said, I'm Thirdmango. I am a music and cultural sociologist. I do album reviews, discography reviews, year-end reviews as well. And so thanks for dropping in. And let's talk about what may be one of the most interesting and strange albums, but really cool albums that I've heard in the past couple of months. So Igorrr is the project of French composer Gautier Serret, who started the project around 2005. The sound is a deliberate collision of extreme metal, such as death and black metal, mixed with Baroque classical music, such as many strings and soprano vocals, mixed with Middle Eastern and Balkan folk, and a little bit of French dashed in there too. I've mentioned before that I come from a good amount of prog rock, and the best history I can give for this band is a mix of Primus and Gogol Bordello. Igorrr does symphonic metal in a way I would imagine Les Claypool would do symphonic metal if told to do so. Before this album, I was not at all familiar with Igorrr, but I gotta say, I'm loving the vibes on this album. Let's get into it. I mentioned the fusions of genre, and they are deliberate on this album. The symphonic metal mixed with some really tight bass riffs, like Les Claypool is on his tracks. The absolute standout for me is the track Camel Dance Floor. If you get the urge to try this band out and you're only giving it one song, this is the song to try. This song is so different that even me telling you about it, it'll sound different for you. It starts off with an incredible sitar riff and then goes into what sounds like a man smacking his belly into a strong metal riff and upbeat crunchy bass lines and occasional strings to back things up. A clapping section comes in halfway into the song and really ramps up the entire vibe. The second track, Nervous Waltz, does indeed follow a waltz complete with violins and other strings into some soprano operatic voices that transitioned into black metal riffs and strong electric guitars. The final minute almost jumps into chiptune while still being backed by symphonic strings. The third track is a short display of their bass playing prowess, which is a really cool track, and could be featured on Primus's 1991 album Antipop. The second half of the album, with songs like Lost in Introspection, Paranoid Bulldozer Italiano, Barocco Santini, and Kung Fu Chevre, all stand heavily in the strings giving the classical vibe and the band bringing in the death metal that for some reason just works so well together. Barocco Santini especially just brings in the most immaculate soprano operatic singing into this crunchy metal vibe. And then the ending, Kung Fu Chevre, brings in a French vibe, which is such a good ending to such an interesting album. This album is simply a treat. A really interesting mixture of metal and classical music that I'm surprised isn't used more often. This is a very strong album in which was a very interesting and weird year for music, especially because it was the height of the pandemic. Give this one a try. Even if it's not your thing, it's so interesting it's hard to pass up. So overall, I'm giving this a 4.5 out of 5. And it's coming in my top 5 for 2020. So I've been Thirdmango. Thanks for coming. I run a Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Thirdmango, in which we play a music game called Whatsamusic. It's sort of a name that tune, pub quiz style music game where we cover all sorts of genres. And it was actually a user in my channel that used a channel point redeem to recommend this album to me, and I'm really glad he did, because this was an absolute banger. So, thank you so much for coming in, and we'll see you in the next album review.